Eating. It's what we do to celebrate, survive, and we love to do it all the time. We do it when we're happy, sad, and just plain bored. It is something that is often taken for granted as we don't need to go out gathering food on our own. Rather, it has become a social activity integrated into our society. But there's a serious social issue in America when it comes to what we choose to eat and where we get it from. Take a minute to think of typical American food. Got it? Chances are that you thought of some type of animal product, and this should not be surprising due to the fact that, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, animal products account for over half the value of U.S. agriculture products, often exceeding $100 billion per year. With that amount of money being poured into animal agriculture, it's no wonder why the average American ate 270.7 pounds of meat in 2012 and a whopping 630 pounds of dairy in 2011, according to NPR. We see meat and dairy at almost every restaurant we go to, and these foods have become norms in our everyday lives. And it is that social normality that is frightening. When something becomes such a normal part of your everyday habits, it is easy to overlook just what your food really is, where it is coming from, and what methods of production are being practiced in order to keep up with the demand for it. So let's take a peek into what our veiled animal agriculture industry is like today. We treat factory farm animals like products rather than the sentient beings that they are. This is partly due to a huge factor of industrialization, lack of human contact. This is explained well from a quote in the book Righteous Porkchop. Quote, "One pillar of industrial production was specialization, another was automation. For farming, this meant taking activities that had once been carried out by humans or the animals themselves and instead doing them with machines." End quote. This industrial transformation has led us into constructing facilities to be as efficient as possible, often implementing methods such as vertical integration of animals that are stuffed into cages barely bigger than their bodies. To help illustrate what the lives of factory farm animals are like, I recorded 2 time-lapse videos where I spent 4 hours each enduring the approximate human equivalent comparisons to the confinement of caged chickens and pigs. I also recorded some emotions and thoughts I had throughout this process on a sheet of paper that I will show at the end of this video. According to the Humane Society, caged chickens are confined to such a small area that each chicken only has an area of floor space smaller than a sheet of paper. Here it is. Caged birds often suffer from behavioral deprivation, metabolic disease, osteoporosis, and cage layer fatigue, a disorder in which the skeletal system becomes so weak that the chickens experience bone fractures that often lead to paralysis and death. Pregnant pigs often suffer from UTIs, weakened bones, lameness, behavioral restriction, and loss of muscle mass and bone strength. We often underestimate the intelligence of some of these animals and go even further to justify this treatment based off of our misconception that these animals lack intelligence. In reality, pigs have been found to be highly intelligent social animals that can learn complex tasks, perceive time, and have even been found to have higher IQs than 3-year-old human children. Although I haven't mentioned all factory farm animals, these same practices can be applied to all confined animals, with each resulting in detriment to the animal's physical and mental health. Aside from animal welfare issues, the animal agriculture industry has huge effects on our environment, and although it is a little dated, I will use the information from an FAO report in 2006 to help expose the impact of animal agriculture on the planet. I know I'm throwing a lot at you right now, so feel free to rewind as much as you'd like. Okay, here it goes. The total area occupied by grazing is equivalent to 26% of the ice-free terrestrial surface of the planet. Livestock production accounts for 70% of all agricultural land and 30% of the land surface of the entire planet. The livestock sector is responsible for 18% of greenhouse gas emissions, which is more than all transportation combined. The livestock sector also uses over 8% of global human water use and is probably the largest sectoral source of water pollution. In the United States, livestock are responsible for an estimated 55% of erosion and sediment, 37% of pesticide use, 50% of antibiotic use, and a third of the loads of nitrogen and phosphorus into freshwater resources. So now that we know of a lot of the harms caused by the animal agriculture industry, let's take a look at some solutions. The ideal solution to fix all of these problems right away would be for everybody to become vegan overnight. Although this should be our long-term end goal, there are several other ways you can help contribute to ease the harmful impact of animal agriculture. There are several top-notch organizations out there fighting for animal rights that you can follow for ideas that you can incorporate into your own life, as well as just to stay updated on their fight and progress towards improving the lives of animals, reducing the impact of the environment, and policy changes. A few of these organizations are the Humane Society of the United States, which has launched a campaign called Meatless Monday in order to raise awareness of animal abuse in society and reduce meat consumption at the same time. Mercy for Animals is another organization that exposes the treatment of farm animals through undercover operations. If you are interested in more information on animal welfare issues, environmental implications of animal agriculture, organizations, or anything else I have talked about in this video, take a look at the links in the description below. Thanks.